I'm explaining an alternative to Permachink. In my situation, I'm using a dovetail jig that gives a double compound dovetail. So in order for a dovetail to have a nice tight fit, which we do have here, in order to have a nice snug fit, they allow a 1/2 inch gap between each log. And there's bearing points as strategic places to give it the support throughout the building. But so now the challenge is to fill this crack with something that will weatherproof it and cover it with a product that will last and stay in the V-joint. So the next step is to fill the crack, which I'm going to do with. Okay, so I was able to acquire this EnviroMatting just as salvage, but you can buy it, and it's a synthetic fibers. It's not going to rot. It's very, very tough, and I just cut it in. I cut it in 5.5 inch lengths. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It's what do I do with my knife? Okay, so we got 5.5, 6 inch EnviroMat. Now we will proceed to put it into our. Yeah, so we're going to put this EnviroMat into the crevice. We'll start, I always leave plenty length to it, and we'll get it started with this. Okay, I'll just set this ahead. I just fold this in half, and I don't know, I go to we got bearing points every 3 or 4 feet. So I go to the next bearing point, and I fold it in half once and half again with the cut side in, and I tuck it in and I get it started. And I use a wedge or the floor layers. Okay, so now it's going in fairly snug, so I'll use the steel. Now what I found is if I run this on a slight angle and it catches the top and bottom, it twists the material and puts it in, tucks it. It tucks it top and bottom. I won't do too much of this, but just do it flush with the two inside bevels. If it goes a little further, it's not the end of the world. And where there's a bearing point, if it's in a ways, I take the stapler and I push it up in. Gotta turn my stapler on. I shove it in order to get a nice finish. I like to mask it top and bottom. So I do a 3/4 inch on the top. Okay, so we got that. I do this 1 inch or wider on the bottom just because it gives you a little more, there's a little more forgiveness. So now on the bottom, my cut line is right on the, just a slight whisker under so that the trowel doesn't catch it. It's not terrible critical because when this is all dry and hard, this product sets up just about like glass. So you can buff it off with those disc sanders real easy. Okay, so now we're going to, just for extra bonding, I'm going to put staples in these. These are 1.5 inches, but they could 3/4 inch are plenty. This is in there. I like them longer to tack in, but normally I would put. So then I just halfway up, I'll put this on whatever this mode is over here. How do you get that one on? Oh, there. Okay, I'll put it on rapid fire. I don't know, just however, I don't think there's anything, just the fact that it's going to bond mechanically but it sticks really good anyway, so I'm not really worried, but for $50 worth of staples. Okay, so now we're going to mix up the mortar. Now, this is my alternative to Permachink. I think it's been to $300 a pail now. But this product here is, it's a polymer fortified adhesive to glue flooring tile on specifically to wood. So it bonds. I tried mortar made with cement and concrete, but concrete doesn't, the only time it bonds to wood is when you don't want it on your cement form. So you put oil on so it doesn't bond. But when you want it to bond, it doesn't. So I went on Google and I found this is polymer adhesive that glues. It sticks like shit to a blanket, and it's really sticky and it hardens up like glass. So this is the product, 254 Platinum by Latacrete, and I'm sure it's available on Amazon, but I got it right at the local flooring store, and I talked to guys that use it, and they speak well of it. It's not cheap. It's $40 Canadian a bag, and I think there's 40 pounds. It's a good handful when you go lift it. But anyway, so I'm going to mix up a little batch, and you mix it really thick like putty so it doesn't slump, and you're putting it up vertically, so you got to mix it nice and thick compared to what you would setting tile on the floor. So I'm going to go mix a little bit now. See? this is probably supposed to wear goggles, but oops, I'm close enough to get buried in the turf that she's all kind of heavy. So I'll give her a little more moisture. It don't take long to get too much in. So this is just a you don't have to do it all. I'll show them. Okay, so now here's the mud, and it's maybe even almost a little on the thin side, but it's got to be thick so it doesn't sag, because we're putting it in vertical. So it's not like, and it's the secret kind is just to get the right kind of gob. And I like to get plenty and then go for peel it down later. So just get a chunk of dough, what you think works, press it in so it goes to the top. If you're a little short, you can push it in more. And so I'll do enough here to finish the I think I probably got a little too much, but it's nice when it's thick. You can press it in, it won't sag. And got a little much there. Get some on the opposite corner of the trowel. I'm not that fussy at the windows because I'm going to be putting a big wide flashing on. So now I get a little bit of water to help me. Some water, get it as clean as possible, and then hold it and peel it up at the same time. I got plenty, as you can see. Normally you'd be going along and adding it further on down the trail. Now, I don't know, everyone has their own way of trimming, but I just flip it up like this. You got to get that tape out of there before it sets up too hard. Now I'm a little short there, so it's pretty forgiving. Always practice on the back side of your cabin, or better yet, help your neighbor first. And then you'll be good when you get to yours. So now we got basically, we got what we're looking for. And we can give it a few minutes, but don't really have to. I'll retape this, but I like to pull the tape off before it bonds, because this stuff is very, very, very bonding. So now you're going to see some imperfections, but instead of messing with them now, I leave them, and I'll show you. I'll go to a dry side and I'll show you how I can clean it up with a disc sander. Best friend, when you're all done, it sets up just like glass. Like it is almost like a ceramic. So anyway, but with this little disc, and you can just go along in any place rid of those stray lines. Okay, we'll go down, say like here. You get the gist of it. It's just